Vidyafy.
Educate, support,
Empower.
Welcome everyone. So we have another great speaker with us today. As we have promised you, we will be bringing you lots of great speakers with us, and that too from different areas. And today we have Ms. Pooja Jain with us, who has done CA and I would say CPA because she has done a certified public accountant course from US. And we welcome you, Pooja.
Thanks, Kashish. It is a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being with us. So let me tell you like the process of our speaker series session. And so we will be going through a sets of questions, and we will be asking you those questions on your profile, on your career journey, and how you have faced various difficulties throughout your career and how you have tackled those. And all those solutions, they will be helping all our students to choose their career, what interest path they want to go through. So I'll be starting with lots of questions to ask you from today. And so the first question is the most basic question, like tell us about yourself, like what is your background, where do you belong from, what are you doing right now, what was the path of your career?
Sure. So I've lived in 3 different cities. I think my father belonged to Punjab, my mother belongs to Haryana. So I've lived there briefly. And then a few years ago, we moved to Delhi because my parents, they really wanted our education to be from a good institute, right? And they know that all the multinational corporations and all the good colleges are in and around Delhi. So which is why we moved to Delhi almost 15 years ago. So I would say I'm a Delhiite mostly. In terms of education, I did my BCom honors from Shriram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and then I got placed in Deloitte. And with Deloitte, I did my certified public accountancy course, as you also mentioned. For those of you who do not know, CPA is equivalent of CA in India. A few years ago, CPA only used to happen in US, and 4 years ago, they started conducting exams in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well. And the good news is, 2 months ago, they started conducting exams in India as well. We do have few centers in India where they conduct the CPA exams. That's pretty much about my educational background. Professionally, I'm currently an experienced manager with Deloitte External Audit Practice. I've been with the firm for close to 9 years now. I think in our conversation today, we would hear more about why I stuck with this firm for so long. We can definitely talk about that as well. In terms of my family, my husband he works in S&P Global. He's into data, and I have 3 siblings. One works in Accenture. She is a manager. Again, one works in Deloitte, and my brother is pursuing his MBA right now. So that's
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving such a nice introduction to us. So let me ask you some questions regarding that when you were pursuing this job. So what all steps you have followed, like right starting from the 11th and 12th, which field you take, which stream you take, then which courses you applied for, then which exams you give. So tell us a little elaborately what all things you have done during this course.
Definitely. So I have a big family, all right, and I have lots of cousins as well. And majorly, my cousins mostly were in the science background. Like most of them have taken science in 11th and 12th. And I think the very first ones to opt for commerce. I think, to my knowledge, right now, this is what I can think of. So I think my guiding force was my principal, my school principal, Mrs. Manisha. She used to be my guiding force because commerce was a very different field for me, right? And my parents also had no clue about this background, and I'm the eldest of my siblings. So I was the first one in my family to choose commerce, I would say. And it was completely new to me, to be very honest. The subjects like accounting, business studies, I had never heard of them until I did my 10th. I was very clear that I do not want to take a biologist, so I'm not going to be a doctor for sure. But I was not clear between engineering and commerce. But my principal, as I mentioned, she had seen us grow over the years, right? And she used to tell my mom that you just leave it to me and I will take care of her. So she was the one who said that basis your caliber, you do not necessarily need to opt for science, right? Just because you have scored good marks in 10. So let us go for commerce for you. And I think it turned out to be really well for me. I loved the subjects like accounting, business studies, because when I started studying the subjects in class 11, I could actually feel I'm trying to relate to the actual business world. All the topics that we covered in business studies and accounting, everything started making sense to me suddenly, like whatever we hear around us. So it all turned out very, very well. And after 12th, I think you know, right, how it works in commerce that we have a cutoff list by all the colleges, and
Right.
you start applying for them. So the option for me was CA. I was very sure that I'm gonna do chartered accountancy, and I also appeared for the entrance called CPT. I cleared that as well. But suddenly during that year, they came out with the rule that you have to do a regular chartered accountancy course, which means it has to be graduation of an open university. So I had to choose between SRCC and chartered accountancy. And I really wanted to experience that North Campus SRCC. It's one of the top commerce colleges in the country, right? So at that time, I went for SRCC and did my graduation because I knew that few years down the line I can do my CA. That's not going anywhere, but graduation is something which has to be done right then. So that's how I went for my BCom. But then I got placed with Deloitte, and Deloitte gave me a wonderful opportunity of doing CPA while I'm still doing my job. And because I'm working in a multinational corporation, I thought CPA is a very well thought choice, right? Because it will give me exposure to accounting practices all over the world. It's a well recognized course. It is a very reputable course when it comes to US and other countries. So I could complete my education while working as well. And today I've completed like 9 years with the firm and I'm done with my education. So it all worked out really well for me.
Yeah, that's nice. Just quickly, briefly explain us like how your typical work day look like.
Definitely. I think during the COVID situation, it's lots and lots of meetings with all different stakeholders. I start my day with meetings with my team members, setting their day in terms of what we are going to achieve as a team today. During the evening, I meet with my US counterparts and my client personnel who are sitting in various countries. During the day, I also coordinate with the other teams who support audit, for example, analytics team and other smaller teams who would work with us. I think not many people are aware of what auditors do. Even I didn't know until I joined Deloitte as to what I'm supposed to do. So I would like to spend 1 minute explaining what auditors actually do. So external audit is about auditing the financial statements of public companies, right? It is mandatory for public companies to get their accounts audited because the investing public is making their decision based on those financial statements. So
Yeah.
companies, they want to make sure that whatever information they have presented in their financial statements is true and fair, which is there in the auditors come into picture, that we will actually make sure whatever assets or profits are mentioned in the financial statements are actually true and fair. So that's what we do. So again, my typical workday would be whatever my clients, they want to get themselves audited, I would coordinate with my team and discuss their findings. And sometimes we do have very, very difficult calls with the clients as well, in case we have any findings and we really want to convince them that they have to do something in a different manner. So that's what my typical day would be like. But I'm also into recruitment and training facilitations. So during this time of the year, we do a lot of hiring and recruitment and a lot of trainings as well. So like since last 1 month, I'm spending half of my time on these two activities as well. So that's pretty much how a week or a day would look like.
Yeah. So I guess Karan, you have next questions.
Yeah, thank you, Kashish, and thank you, Pooja. And for me, like you said, your principal had a very important role in choosing your career. So we had like in speaker series our third episode, we had Harsh. He is from Indian Navy, and it's the same for him. So it's very heartening to see that teachers who play such an important role, they're continuing to play that role, and that is really important. So for me, the thing which sets you apart is having good marks in 10th and still choosing a commerce stream, because usually that is like whenever you get, okay, you are having 85% and above marks or 90%, you have to choose science. So just explain like how did you manage to change, like to stay away from that mindset, like not to take science, and you were so confident that you want to do commerce. So how did you make up your mind, and how did you uh, tell your parents and then they supported you? Just your student life.
Definitely. I think I've been very fortunate to have very supporting parents. And as I mentioned, I have a big group of cousins, right? All of them are very well placed in their lives right now. So my entire family background, I think, really supported where I am today in terms of setting up those values and those perceptions in the mind. because I do not come from a conservative family, right? And which is why my
Okay.
parents were completely open to what I choose in my life. And when I heard from my principal also that this is what the right career path for you is, it sort of gave me some kind of confidence that such a well-established person is telling me that something is right for me. So that was one thing which really gave me confidence and faith to do what I'm trying to do right now. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of science. So when I heard about commerce, I had no clue. And on one hand, I had a subject which I was not really a big fan of. So it was kind of a leap of faith for me to spend the next 2 years to see how it goes for me. And then everyone told me, right, that after commerce, you have a vast variety of options to go for, right? You could do an MBA, CA, CFA, so many options you have, right? So which is why I think I spent those 2 years trying to understand the subject and whether I like it or not. And then it turned
Okay. And then, like, when you were doing commerce, like when you started doing commerce and you see your friends doing science, like they're doing excellent in medical, non-medical. So did any sort of that peer pressure come to you, or how did you manage that peer pressure?
See, right now, if I compare myself with the friends who opted for science, then I don't
Mhm.
think I am any way behind them just because I chose
Okay.
commerce. I think the mindset has really changed over the years, right? Now it is no more that commerce students are the ones who did not score well. I think
Hmm.
one thing which is very evident is the college cutoffs, right? You see the cutoffs are really really high, which clearly indicates that they only want top students to be educated in the top colleges. So in case you do not have like intelligent students in commerce, no way the colleges are taking you, right? So that's even if I've taken commerce in 11th and 12th, I know I've got to work really hard to make it to a top college. So just because someone has taken maybe arts or commerce, they still
Hmm.
have got to work really hard to make their career a success by being in the top colleges if they really want that.
Yeah, that's so for me, it looks like you were always very clear what you wanted to do. So during your career, like when you were doing commerce, after you did your commerce and you were doing your job, so at any moment, did you feel like, oh, maybe I should have done something different? Did that, like, did you ever had that moment that, okay, I don't know, maybe I should have done something different in my career?
See, as I mentioned, auditing, I had no clue what they do because auditing is a
Okay.
subject in the final year of graduation, and I got placed with Deloitte at the very beginning of the final year. So until then, we had no clue what auditors do, and then we studied the subject called auditing. Even then, we were not really clear in my mind as to this is what my day would look like, right? So when you say whether it struck me that I could have done something different, I think one thing is teaching. I really love teaching, which is
Okay.
why I took up training facilitations as well into it because that kind of gives me a platform to take up my interest areas as well. So had not been an auditor, maybe teaching, but Deloitte is a great firm. They have great
Mhm.
culture in terms of people and how they treat them. Various opportunities come my way. Like I traveled to US 3 or 4 times. I
Okay.
did my CPA. So I never really felt like I'm in the wrong place, but definitely I could be a teacher also maybe if not in Deloitte as
Okay. And that would also be another noble profession, I think, because you
Yes.
would be helping others. So that would have been another good profession for you, and I think you would have done excellent in that too. So for us, like, asking that question is just to know, just to tell our viewers that it's okay to think something different, and
it
it's
is. It
okay to
is.
have those moments, okay, maybe I should have done something else. So just like having those thoughts and just telling them that this is all okay. So that's the main reason why we ask these questions. Thank you, Pooja.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Like coming to know, like you have so much of clarity in your profession. Even you have the clarity what would be you have been doing in the second if it was not the CPA or CA, then you would be doing the teaching. That's a good thing. Okay, let me take you to a separate segment right now. Tell us, like, do you have any knowledge that if specially abled people will be doing or pursuing this career, will they be feeling that difficulties in such career? And if it would be that they are facing those difficulties, what would be those and how they can pursue that career?
See, Kashish, I feel it is not fair to say that they will not face any difficulties because they have their own set of challenges, right? I think what is important is being open-minded and giving them equal opportunities. If we keep thinking in our mind that someone is specially able and we should not treat them equal, that is not fair. Definitely, they would have their set of challenges. But for example, in my case, my clients are sitting in the US or UK or Australia, and we are supporting them from a distance, right? So we do video conferences, calls, and all sorts of communications with them. So there would be some challenges, and Deloitte also has sort of specially abled people here. That's our policy inclusion. So they will face some challenges, but I think with support from their peers, they would be able to make it because auditing is not something wherein a lot of physical work is required, right? Most of the work is being done online on your laptops or via calls or video conferences. So if we can make that work for that person, I don't think there should be a lot of challenges to make it to this profession, I would say.
Okay. So are you aware of any kind of offerings by any companies or during your experience throughout this career or any education programs for them, especially for CA?
I would be very honest here. I do not know any formal programs or formal education institutes, but I know that Deloitte itself has a program called CARE, wherein
Okay.
they educate the private and the public employers of
Mm-hmm.
how to treat or how to make professional life easy for specially able people. So Deloitte has some
Okay.
sort of initiatives wherein they hire specially able people themselves, but they also try to create some kind of awareness in the professional market between private and public employers to make sure that the needs of these kind of people are taken care of.
That's good. So, and one thing I wanted to ask, like, uh, do you know like any kind of difficulties have you ever faced working with them so that even they will be aware of it, that what kind of things they need to implement in their lives while doing such courses?
Sure. I think it's all in the mind. For example, if you tell me that a specially able person is going to join your team, irrespective of how capable or how competent that person is, I think somewhere in my mind I would have that kind of hesitation. And hesitation would be just to make sure that I treat that person well, and I should not that make that person feel that he's
Yeah,
different from us in any sort. So the only
that's right.
difficulty that I can think of is my mental perception of the competency and capabilities of that person. So I think we need a kind of a paradigm shift wherein we make ourselves comfortable, having them in our surroundings and just making sure
Mm-hmm.
that we are treating them sensitively, and there will always be moments of meltdown, right, wherein they would feel that we are not treating them equal. So I, as a manager, need to be well prepared to handle those situations of meltdown to make sure that the person feels inclusive.
Yeah, that's a very nice perspective from you. And we actually want such things to make aware lots of peoples and those people who are facing such difficulties, especially those who are the specially able section. So they need these awareness about like what opportunities and what things like they can get from this career. So yeah, that's a great answer from you. So I guess like it's time to deep dive into your career journey a bit.
Definitely.
So Karandeep has some sets of questions in the
Yeah. So the first one for me is like even right now. So I won't tell my age, but I've done my BTech currently, like worked with an MNC for almost 9 to 10 years. Even for me, sometimes it's like I should be associated with a brand. So I don't know how that feeling is so deeply engraved that we always want to be associated with a brand. So my question for you is, as a student, we think that getting associated with a branding company is success, or getting a high paying job is the ultimate goal. So do you feel the same like when you were a student, and how your definition of success has changed from being like when you were a student and now that you are a professional?
I think that's a very valid question, Karan. So it's the same as choosing the course versus the college, right? Like
Mhm.
while someone is out of their schools and they want to choose a degree for them, especially in case of commerce, students face a very difficult choice that whether they should go for a college of their choice For example, they're getting into, let's say, SRCC or Hansraj. They are very competitive colleges, but they are getting a course of their choice in a third college. So students generally in the commerce stream or the arts stream, they face a dilemma in terms of whether they should opt for a top college or they
Okay.
should opt for the course of their choice. Similarly, while we are appearing for placements, right, in college, again it's a question of because again, as I mentioned, right, during college while we are studying, we're not really aware of various kinds of professions or career paths available to us. So at that point of time, to be very honest, when I got placed with Deloitte, I was really happy because I know Deloitte is a big brand. It's one of the big fours, right? And they were definitely offering me a good package. So I think during the college years, we are not very mature, right? So at that point of time, we feel that yes, brand is very important or package is very important. We would not want to be paid well, right? But I think as you asked me, like with time, how it has changed. Currently, also, let me just tell you very frankly that all the big fours would reach out to other big fours, right? So I would also get calls from EY, KPMG, or PwC to join their firm. But I think now my definition of a brand or of package is different in terms of I look at the culture of a firm, the kind of flexibility that they offer me, what are the opportunities that I'm getting here. Some people would ask me, why are you still with Deloitte? You have spent 9 years here, then why don't you change? Because once you change your firm, you would definitely get a very good hike. They would tell me, so why are you still here? Why don't you go for a hike? They would offer you 30 or 35% of increment, right? But what I would tell them is, see, I'm getting all right kind of opportunities here in Deloitte. They have an excellent culture wherein they value their people. So there's no reason for me to shift. So to simplify my answer, the definition of success or definition has changed in the sense that I look at longer term now. During those times in college years, we used to be I don't know what to say, immature or very hasty in our decisions, but that has changed now. Like we would think of longer term, what are the opportunities that would come our way in this organization? And that's how we tend to change our decisions. Yes, I'm still with the brand, and again, we would not want to be associated with the brand. But if you are with the firm wherein you know that right kind of opportunities would come your way, then just because it is a smaller firm does not mean that you should look outside to be associated with the larger brand in the market.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja, for your answers. So for me, so for our viewers who are in 10th or 11th and they have to choose a college, what advice would you give? Because I think at that age, it's difficult, very difficult for them to think about long term. So now it's easier for us to, okay, maybe this is what I need. But at that moment, they're not sure, okay, maybe this is the career I want, or maybe I should do something different. So what advice would you give them so that they can start thinking long term?
Right. I can tell you from a real life experience, like my husband would tell me all the time that he went for a BCom honors during his graduation. Again, because of lack of guidance, he did not really know about various options then. For example, he mentioned that he would like to go for statistics honors had he known
Okay.
then, right? But at that point of time, he thought he's getting into a new college and he would enjoy his college life, so he went for a BCom honors. Again, he's doing very well in his life right now, but that feeling always is there in your mind, right? So my suggestion would be to choose the course, right? Because let's say I belong to SRCC, one of the top colleges, I got placed with the firm. But once you join a firm, it is all your performance that will take you ahead. No one is going to ask me now which college are you from, right? So I think
Correct.
once you
Yeah.
have chosen your career path, which is dependent on the course that you have chosen, then it is all your performance and your hard work which will take you a long way. So if you did a BCom honors versus an economic honors or vice versa, it is the next course that you choose, right? Or the next the placement that you take up will all be dependent on what you have studied. It may take you longer. For example, if you're not in a very good college, it may take you longer to get placed. But once you get placed, then there's no looking back, provided you're doing you're 100% there.
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja. Then the next one is a bit personal. So for us, just share because you have had, you are very clear with what you want to do. So for us, it's important to know like what was the most challenging experience for you during your career?
I don't know if you're aware, but auditing is a very demanding profession because we have our own set of deadlines, right? Like
Mhm.
after the year end, we have a specific number of days to complete our audit and to give that opinion on the financial statements. So even
Right.
now, I think every year I feel that I don't know how I managed to survive this long in this career because of the kind of hard work that I'm putting in. But again, that is where my family would come into picture. They have been really supportive even after my marriage. My husband would always tell me to prioritize my work and my career. He would not put, unlikely demands of you should pay more attention to home, which does not mean that I should ignore that. So challenge, no one particular stance I can pick for right now, but I think the number of hours that we have to really put in here. And again, I mentioned that I'm fond of training facilitations. I like to be a part of recruitment and other events. So all of this will not come, on a plate to you. I generally spend some hours over the weekend to prepare for those trainings, right? So I like to put in those extra hours because I like to experience that part of my career as well. So challenging, yes, but the amount of hard work and the number of hours that you have to put in this profession is definitely one challenge that anyone who's looking for auditing should be well prepared of. And again, another distinction here would be, so I work for an MNC, right? Like in Deloitte, I
Mhm.
serve US audit clients. But if someone is looking to serve Indian audit clients, that means they have their
Mhm.
clients sitting in India. They would
Mhm.
also have to travel and be there at the location. So people who
Okay.
are doing audit of Indian firms, they should be again mentally prepared to spend those many hours if
Mhm.
they really want to look for this profession.
Thank you, Pooja. And it's really important, I think, the way you have answered it, like support from your family, support from your husband. I think those are very critical, especially like in our Indian society, for a girl to develop her career, because then you have to work extra. So like it's
Yeah.
your whole family should support it. And through this profession, like through this initiative, that's what we want. Like all the girl students that they can pick any profession they want, and then we would request their families to keep supporting them, because I think at the end of the day you want your kid to be happy. So
Yeah.
until and unless they are doing something which they like, they won't be happy. So like, and that's the goal of every parent, like just to make their see their kids always happy. So I thank your parents and your husband for always supporting you in your career.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
and
think some clarification, just to, I'm
yes,
sorry to
yes,
cut
please.
you. I do not want to sound like auditing is a very difficult profession for those who are watching the video. The work-life balance is still there, but it is on you how you maintain that work-life balance. So do not think that if you are into this profession and you do not have a life, you would still have a life provided you maintain that balance between your work and your personal life. Just that clarification because I did not want to sound negative on this profession. So the students are clear when they make their choice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Thank
you
you.
can
Thank
continue.
yeah.
Okay. So coming to the yes, I'll ask you some personal segment questions. So tell us, like, what do you do in your free time?
During COVID, so cooking is a stress buster for me. For some people, they do not like it, but I tend to forget my worries and my office problems or my personal fights when I'm cooking. So that's one. I also like to work out, and I'm a cleanliness freak. If you
Hmm.
tell me
Mhm.
you have two free hours, then I would maybe start cleaning one corner of the house. That's what I do.
So nothing related to teaching.
I think that's already taken care of while I'm part of
Okay.
Deloitte. And also to
Yeah.
mention, so Deloitte has this initiative, very similar to yours. So there was a particular part during last couple of years wherein I was in touch with students who were studying in class 11th and 12th. And we
Okay.
used to be in touch with them throughout the year through phone calls. And our goal was just to motivate them throughout the year and to answer any of their questions. And I was also a part of NCC during my college, wherein we used to teach students and children of the labor who used to work in college. So, there are different buckets in last few years where I've taken care of that teaching instinct in myself. So I'm well satisfied there.
Okay, that's good. So one thing I wanted to know, you have already told like how supportive your family or your husband is with you throughout your career. Tell us that one particular incident during this career which you especially want to mention that, okay, this was the support which I got from my family, from my husband. that one incident which spiked you inside the okay, so you don't have to worry about anything from them.
I think one thing I can think of as of now is a recent incident. So a few months back, I was offered an opportunity to go for a 2-year program in the US. It was an on-site program where I would stay in US for 2 years and then come back here and run my firm and my team back. You know how it works in India, right? I'm married, I have a family, in-laws,
Yes.
everyone is there. But to my surprise, everyone was like, do what you feel is best for you. We are there for you. Even my husband offered that he would somehow find a way to move his job to US. He would ask for permission to work from home for a few months to help me settle down in the US if he can't really move for full 2 years. So I think I was not sure about myself, but the way they supported me that yes, you are free to go. If you think this is best for you, then do it. So I think that is
Mhm.
the kind of support everyone, if they could have in their life, it will be very easy for them to succeed in their life. So I owe my success not just to my hard work, but I think at every step of life, the kind of people that I've come across, be it my cousins, my relatives, my school principal, or my husband, my in-laws, even I've been very fortunate to have very supporting colleagues and seniors. Some of them are not in Deloitte anymore, but I know they have my back. I could give them a call and they would be there to mentor me, to guide me. So I think I've just been very fortunate in my life because of which I'm here.
Yes. Actually, your examples in life are so beneficial for our viewers, for our listeners, that being a girl child, getting such support from the family is one of the most important thing, especially in India.
Right.
So that's really nice. Now,
And let me tell
I
you, like,
yeah.
yeah, we are three
Yes.
sisters, all right. And I have a brother, but my mother would always tell me my daughters are my sons. This is what she would
Okay.
always say, that
Yeah.
the way you guys have made me proud, like she never felt a need for a son. Obviously, my brother is doing very well with his MBA and his college, but my mother would always feel proud of having three daughters. So
Yeah.
being a girl child, it never really struck my family or myself that like I am not being given equal opportunities there.
Yeah, that's what, like, as you said, I'll also say it again to all the parents who are watching this episode. So take an example from the Pooja's family and feel proud of all the girls, and whoever your children is, they can make you proud at any time, and they can achieve their dreams, even for you as well. Okay. So next segment is my favorite segment that Karandeep is going to ask. Like that was
Yes.
going to be a surprise for you.
Okay.
So the next one, Pooja, is rapid fire. So you have to quickly give answers. You cannot think a lot. Okay.
I will try.
So yeah. So we usually don't include it when we send the questions. So this one is
uh,
just a surprise. So the first one is: are you a morning person or an evening person?
morning.
Okay. What is your favorite hobby?
I think I already said cooking and cleaning.
Okay, cleaning. Yeah. Describe yourself in just 3 words, not sentences, just words. 3 words.
I am self-motivated. You do not really have
Okay.
to like push me. I would do things myself. I'm
Okay.
very disciplined and I'm very organized. So
Okay.
organized, self-motivated, and disciplined.
Discipline. And what is your favorite quote of life?
Can I say two, because those two
Yes,
are very
please.
close to
Yeah,
my
Yes,
heart?
yes, definitely.
sure
Yeah.
thing.
So one is you do not know how courageous or how strong you are unless being courageous is the only option you have. That's what I've personally felt in my life. Being the eldest one, there were things that I never really was aware of, and everything came first to me. So I think I just tried to be very strong to whatever came my way, and I could come out with flying colors. Second one, which I recently come across, was a phrase called die empty. So the phrase die empty means whatever you have, all the knowledge, information, goodness in yourself, you should give it to others and you should die empty.
Okay.
What will you
Yeah.
do by taking all with you when you die? You should give it all away to the world and to the society. These two are very close to my heart.
These are incredible one. Like I have not heard, like especially the second one, die empty. That's really good. Then the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
one is: if you were stranded on an island, what
Mhm.
2 things would you want with you? Just 2 things.
I think my phone, if I can have that, with everything, and lots of food.
I
Okay.
hope your
Okay.
husband is not listening from behind.
I hope that too.
Okay. And then the next one is, what compliment do people give you the most?
I think my team on an alternate basis would ask me what keeps you going. Like they would ask me,
Okay.
how are you so motivated every day and you just don't give up. So that's the compliment that they would give me. And the reason I think I have to appear motivated is because I'm a leader, right? And if I'm not
Okay.
motivated, if I'm not happy, then it would let my team down as well. So even if I'm not feeling at my best right now, I still have to motivate my team to do their best. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's another good question. Now, we have seen that you're doing very good in your career. You had very good grades during your student life. But this one is little person. We want to ask, what was the lowest grade you have ever been given, and which class was it for?
I would not really forget it, was class 12. And in commerce, every single mark really counts. So I scored the lowest in English in class 12. And I could have missed SRCC by 1 mark, but luckily I could
Oh
get
my
there. So I would not really forget my English marks during class 12.
God. Thank you, Pooja.
That's great. Like such an informative session with you, and it was pleasure to have you and the perspective you have given regarding your family, regarding your uh especially the quotes which we both liked it a lot, like, and all these information how to pursue CA and what was the career looks like. It was such an informative session, Pooja, so thanks for being with us. Just to end up the session, I want to ask you that one single message you wanted to give to all our listeners and the students.
Definitely. So I think during student life, I think there's a difference between what we want to be and the kind of image that we want to maintain with others, right? So I would say two things. Like, first of all, do not just think about what next every time. This is what I'm trying to implement in my life as well. Just try to stop there for a moment and enjoy what is there in your current life, because in our mind we're always thinking of what to do next, how to achieve the next milestone. But stop there, enjoy, and acknowledge what you have in the life, be grateful. And especially in terms of career choice, I would say students should talk to more people in the actual corporate world, because that's how they will learn how their life would look like. Do not just go by what is written on Google or what is there on the websites. Actually talking to people who are working in different kind of corporates and different professions would help them make an informed decision of how their actual work life would look like. Because unless you know how a typical day would look like, you will not really make an informed decision, I feel.
Thank you,
Thank you
Pooja.
so
And
much,
yeah,
Pooja. I'll
yeah,
tell all
and
the listeners that we are not
yes.
promoting, like, we did not ask her to promote us, but yeah, this is one of the major point that, like, everyone, like, should follow their dreams and ask the all the people those who are in that corporate. Currently, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was saying this, that Pooja, you just hit the nail on the spot, that students should start talking to corporates who are already in that profession. And we have, especially like in our Vidya 5, we have one more vertical, career services. And under that, we have one section for LinkedIn. So we want students to start like joining LinkedIn, because I like you get like you can search for any profession, anyone, and then you can actually talk to them. The point
Right.
that you were saying, that you would actually know what that profession is. So that's also like really important. And I think through that, like once it's successful, I think we would have more people coming on LinkedIn, and it would like in the long run help them out. And thank you
Definitely.
so much for today's session. It was a pleasure. And what I have seen throughout, like whatever speaker series sessions we have done, that you guys know what you want to do. So, and that's like one of the takeaways for all our viewers, anyone who's listening. Just know what you want to do and focus on that, and just don't worry about anything else.
Can I say like
Yeah.
one ending sentence here?
Yes.
It is
Yes,
Sure.
okay
please.
to not know what you want to do. There will be
Okay.
situations in life when you would feel that you do not know what to do. There are times when you need to take a leap of faith. For example, my choice of commerce was based on
Hmm.
guidance from my principal, right? And I took that leap of faith. Sometimes you have to trust your mentors. I was blessed to have a mentor. So sometimes it is okay to not know what to do, and it is okay to listen to people who you really trust and who know you well, right? If the other person knows you really well, he or she would most likely at least guide you in the right direction, and the ultimate decision definitely lies with you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And I
Pooja.
think you guys are doing a great job. Kudos to you. God bless. And if any one of you or the students want more information about CPA, because it is not very well publicized in India, feel free to drop me a note, and I would be happy to connect with the students to give them more information on how to go about this.
Definitely, Pooja. Yeah, thank you so much for such an informative session, and this was such an amazing session. So, to all our listeners and viewers, I would again say that if you have any questions from Mrs. Pooja Jain, so do drop us an email, or you can contact us through our website as well. So, our website is vidyafy.org, and you can drop us an email at info@vidyafy.org, and we will be seeing you again in the next episode, in the fifth
Definitely.
episode with another speaker. And thank you so much, Pooja Jan, and thank you so much, Karandeep Singh.
Thanks,
Thank
both of
you.
you. It was a joy to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.